council meeting together for City of St. John, March 18th, 7 o'clock p.m. Is there any additions to the agenda? Let it show there's no addition to the agenda. Citizen comments? Any citizen comments? Let it show. Is that a citizen comment? Is that her?
Yeah.
Okay. Let it show there's no citizen comments. We're gonna skip the Hoods Haven until later in the meeting because we're waiting on the attorney to get here.
Okay.
Which we can, I think we can do the Zoom call if it's scheduled at 7. We just can't take any action until Danny's, or it was recommended we don't take any action until Danny's here.
Okay.
So I don't.
Can you get the, whatever.
Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I know what you think of that.
Understood it too, we can
Yeah.
do the call.
You there, Stephanie?
I'm here.
All right. We've got you here for the council meeting.
Okay.
Well, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hi. Okay, so we're here today to talk about the resolutions that were revised and need to be re-signed in regards to the Maker Building CDBG commercial rehab application. So Commerce came back and said that they really wanted the sale of the building to happen prior to the application submission. They really want that building to be owned by a for-profit business owner and not by a nonprofit. So that is kind of what necessitated the change in the ownership structure prior to grant application. So with that in mind, the blight resolution had to be revised to state Mr. Wyckoff as the owner. The resolution to apply also had to change to state the new owner, and then there was that revision in the MOU. I did have a question on the MOU. I saw that Stafford EcoDevo is still included in here as a responsible entity. I didn't know if there was a reason for that, but my recommendation would be to remove EcoDevo from this MOU. Mr. Wyckoff is supposed to be taking on sole responsibility for anything related to this project, and EcoDevo won't be taking on any of that responsibility per Commerce request. They just want to avoid any appearance of undue influence over the project, and so they really want the city, Sked as the grant administrator, and Mr. Wyckoff to really be the primary points of contact for the project moving forward.
Stephanie, I got a question. I'm Aaron. What page are we talking about that correction that you say needs to be made? Page and paragraph.
Page number 2 of the MOU. It states in here, as far as the payback of funds, it talks about that Wyckoff will pay the full amount. In the event he's unable to pay, then that responsibility then falls to the economic development entity. And I was under the impression that EcoDevo was going to be fully removed from any of the language in the resolutions and the agreements. They were removed from the resolutions, just not from the MOU.
Got it.
Memorandum of understanding that we passed.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So do we have that in here?
Not in the packet.
Oh, okay. Was that what she emailed, the change that she had emailed us? Okay. All right, point taken.
Okay. So I believe EcoDevo was also listed actually on every single page. So now that I'm looking through it, I just kind of fixated on page 2, but it looks like they are listed on page 1 as the sole responsible entity for the grant requirements. And they're also listed on page 3. It looks like in line item 7. So if that could be edited and then taken off as a signatory on that, I think the Commerce would be much happier with that.
You got that in your notes? Okay.
Are there any questions about the revision of the resolutions or the reasoning behind the sale of the building prior to application that I can maybe help with?
No, it's the question I have is, does Mr. Wyckoff actually own it? Did it close?
It is not closed yet, so there was some delay in getting an appraiser out there. So the process with this is that there has to be an appraiser that is scheduled to go out. Once that appraiser has done their assessment and issued their official appraisal, then a second appraiser must review that appraisal for accuracy to make sure that it reflects what the value of the building actually is. And so that has been done. Getting appraisers can be very difficult, especially in rural communities. So that did take a little bit of time for Ryan to get that arranged, but that has been done. They are in the process of now getting the contract put together for the sales price. So then that way it is set and ready to go. Mr. Wyckoff does already have a bank letter stating that he is pre-approved for a construction loan for the full match amount. So he already has his pre-approval for the full matching amount, and is aware of the fact that if for whatever reason, the grant is not bringing to completion and Commerce is requesting that full entirety back, he knows he is the responsible entity. So that has all been communicated and covered, and he is aware of that. But I believe we are expecting full sale completion, new deed within the next 2 to 3 weeks is my understanding, as long as everything goes well.
It looks like March 21st is the closing.
Okay.
So how do you guys feel about signing something that isn't factual? He's not the owner at this moment. We're not gonna sign this anyway, because we need corrections. But even after the corrections are made, me personally, I don't think we should sign it until it's closed, right?
You just make sure it goes through as agreed.
Yes. That was going to be my next point, is that I would totally understand not signing it right now, because obviously it's not a done deal. There could be still something that falls through. So the point of today's meeting was more to present these resolutions, make sure that you guys understand why this change is happening, give you a chance to ask questions, but at least approve them as they are without signing, just until you know that sale has gone through. There will be one additional document for signature. It will be the acquisition exemption form. So what that entails is there's a full acquisition process that HUD requires when a building is being bought for the purpose of a grant project. However, if there is no eminent domain that's involved in the acquisition of the property, you can bypass a lot of the acquisition steps and just go straight to the appraisal process and the contract negotiation process. But because you are skipping some of those steps, the city does have to sign an acquisition exemption request that basically says, hey, we have followed the steps required. There is no eminent domain involved. It's not a case of the city is taking this land or this building for its own use. There was no relocation involved, anything like that. And then that is submitted to Commerce for their approval, saying, yes, we understand why you didn't go through the whole acquisition process, and we are granting you this exemption. But other than these revised resolutions, that is the only pending document, and that won't come until after the sale is complete. We have the new deed. All of the steps can be, crossed off on the checklist, and then that will be the final resolution that will have to be signed prior to the application being submitted.
Got it. Is everybody else?
Are there any other questions or concerns about what's being presented tonight that I can help with?
Yeah, it sounds like we just need to wait for the sale to go through, and then we can pass these at the next meeting if it goes through on the 21st. Is the way I think.
All right.
That.
And then once those are signed and fully executed, I'm sure Pam will get copies of those to me. I'll just need those to replace the original versions that had EcoDevo listed as the responsible entity.
We'll make sure you get that.
All right, thank you.
I don't have anything I can.
Okay. You all set? Anything else, Stephanie?
Nope, that was all tonight.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Any more discussion from council after the Zoom is over? I think we covered about everything. We're not gonna be signing these until we get a lawyer here and
Right.
get it right. Moving on, consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the minutes, regular council meeting, March 4th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve regular council meeting minutes, March 4th, 2025.
Motion on
Second.
the table by Mark Bryant, second by Aaron Rain. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. I'd entertain a motion for appropriation ordinance 031825 AP in the amount of $38,619.48.
Make a motion to approve appropriation ordinance number 031825 AP in the amount of $38,619.48.
Second.
Got a motion on the table by Mark Bryant, a second by Aaron Rains. Any more discussion from council? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. I'd entertain a motion, appropriation ordinance EBH and Associates for $4,000. That's in your packet.
It's the consulting fee for Fifth Street.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve EBH invoice and EBH and Associates invoice in the amount of $4,000.
Second.
Got a motion on the table and a second. That's for professional
Services.
services. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. I'd entertain a motion for mayor's specialty service for $3,100. And that's, you got any question? I think Jason, it was approved their last meeting, if I remember right. Is that all right?
That's-
Well, that was for the camera and that line that was
That's what
breaking
this
up.
is, isn't it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve Meyer specialty service invoice in the amount of $3,100.
Second.
Motion on table by Mark Bryant, a second by Aaron Rains,
Correct.
all in favor? All opposed, passes 5-0. Entertaining motion for Wagon Train Tour Incorporated for the amount of $5,000, and that's under paying
For entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
Jubilee Entertainment, it's in Pam's, wherever it's at, right here.
Make a motion to approve Wagon Train Tour Incorporated invoice in the amount of $5,000.
Second.
Motion on the table and a second. Any more discussion from council? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. I'd entertain a motion for petty cash, $205.40.
Make a motion to approve petty cash in the amount of $205.40.
A
Second.
motion by Mark Bryant. Here a second. By Aaron Rains. All in favor? All opposed? You're
Yeah.
bringing us to department head and committee reports. Got anything for Curtis?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
No.
Pam's gone and you got nothing, right?
No, let's split it up by
Any
this year.
council got any questions for Curtis? I think they're about ready to start the fire banks, is that right?
Yeah, whenever they get back down here. I talked to Chris the other day, told him we had the oil and he's gonna try to get back down here.
Did you get the rest of the oil in?
Yeah, I came in, Friday afternoon.
Council got any questions for Curtis? Moving on, water department, Jason.
I have two, it's on the sewer. First one, didn't get a bid for that motor I needed in the pump, so we'll have to skip that one this time. You should have a bid from Mayor for that lining project. I hope it got printed out for you. And I'd like to get that approved so we can get that lined. And first of all, we had another problem with to clean the south part of that line, and had to call emergency one call to get our truck nozzle out of the line because it shot off into the dirt about 6 feet. And that line is on the south side of that is about 10 foot broke out, and it's worse than the part that we got cambered. So that being said, that whole line on that is just really bad and it needs to, so that's why, I just, we have it opened up. Curtis's crew helped us get that done. We have plywood over top of it, and we're trying to get that done before it rains and fills that all in with dirt, mud, and starts taking it down the sewer lines in that part of town. And that's why I like to get that bid, or get that lined. So I hope you do have the bids in front of you.
Is the mayor the only one that does this?
As far as I know,
Okay, as quickly as we need it done. Are they generally competitive?
pretty, as far as I know,
Okay.
Have they done this service for us before?
oh,
They did a good job.
definitely, oh, definitely.
Easy to work with.
Yeah, they've done probably under, just right at another quarter of town so far.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah,
Well, it's gotta get done.
I asked Jason about this earlier, about that manway, if they gonna coat that manway too, or is that?
manhole. Look, they're gonna sit there, and what they're doing to the bottom of that is after, when they get done with the pipe, they're gonna sit there and fix it with concrete.
Oh, they're gonna concrete.
They're gonna concrete the bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
Because to finish the whole, to redo, to construct the whole thing, it's gonna be about $1,800. But to bring their whole truck and everything to just do one manhole, he said it's not worth it, cause it'd be about to bring the whole thing out, it would be $4,000, because it's not, because just to load up one whole, to bring all their wagons out here to do one manhole, it wouldn't be worth it. Now, he said if we had like 10 manholes to do, then it would be for like $1,400 a manhole. And then they would do the whole process of completely redoing that whole manhole. But for now, he said, let's just get the bottom of it redone with the asphalt or the concrete, and let's just do it that way, and it'll be just as good for now.
Okay.
Council got any more questions about it? Any input? Anybody?
We pay tax on that? Is that right? If it's
Mm.
for utilities?
For the utilities, yeah.
We didn't put tax on it, did we?
Maybe 55,000-ish.
How much do you think it would be compared to like lining if you went and put new pipe in? You replace the whole pipe instead of lining?
I wouldn't have no clue.
I just wonder if it's, I was just curious. Would it be
Because then you'd have to-
substantially higher?
Oh, yeah, then you'd have to, because you'd have to dig that all up, plus you'd have to get all the shoring equipment, buy all that, plus then you'd have to take all the surfaces out, completely redo them.
So that's why we, way back, like 5 years ago, we started, why we decided to line them, right,
Yes.
versus.
Right.
10%.
Yeah, so it should be less, just 55.
The reason it went up, because it was at 35,000, 38,000. And the reason it jumped up to 40-something thousand is because it so broke out so badly within like a 10-foot chunk. The 10 to 12-foot chunk is broke out. And I told him, I said, we need to get you here, because if it does rain and fills that mud hole and just keeps filling that mud hole, and rains and fills it up, all that mud and everything is just gonna keep going down and fill that whole side of town up with mud and muck.
How soon can you get them out? If we
Thursday,
Thursday?
they're gonna be here this Thursday if I call them tonight, or text them tonight. That's why they added that upper, because they had to get the material here for us, and then they're all the way at southeast Kansas, and he says he's pulling them out tonight to get back here. To get this done, because he's already been here and video canned the south part of that too.
Like,
Okay.
it's in bad shape, I don't know what we did.
I'm just wondering if there's gonna be more damage. We fixed this, but, okay, that's another conversation. Make a motion to approve, the mayor, this quote for, $49,118.54 plus whatever the tax comes
I think
to.
it needs to, you need to say less than 55,000.
We'll approve it for less than 55,000.
Second.
Is that a motion?
I'm like, yeah, that's
Okay,
a lot.
before we second that, well, the problem that we're dealing with, Kyle, we got 150-year-old stuff in
Yeah, I
there.
know, that's what, like,
It's gonna be expensive, everything we do.
I don't,
Unfortunately, I hate to say that, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where we're at.
yeah.
This
We
is
got a
what,
motion.
that's what's scaring me so bad. This is why I wanted to jump on that sewer cleaning, because today, we were cleaning down there by Cornwell Park, and we were dragging back, and I almost got the truck, the nozzle stuck again, and we were dragging back 2 bricks, and I was sitting there just trying to pull them back, and I thought we were just gonna have to dig a 1 call again. And I finally got it pulled back, and there was 1 brick, I went back down again, dragging back, and then another brick. So, I mean, and then I went back again, and I thought, 3 strikes, I'm out. So I didn't do it again. And there was still something obstructing trying to get down by it. That's why I thought, I'm not doing it again.
Okay.
We've
So,
got
something's scaring me.
We've got a motion on the table by Aaron Rain.
we also have a second.
Do I hear a second? Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? That's five ayes. You got anything else, Jason?
That's it for me, thank you.
Anything on the street and parks that you wanna ask Jason about? You covered the street, looks like. Moving on, Fire Chief Mike,
I don't have anything.
council got anything for Mike? Moving on, City Clerk, oh, Tory,
Corey.
Corey.
Tory.
I don't have anything new.
Okay. After all
Any
that.
questions?
Sorry, I forgot you saw me.
Any questions for Tory from council? Moving on, we got Mike, City Clerk Pam, she's not here,
Nothing new.
you got it, right,
Just change your name.
nothing new?
How long is clerk school? Couple days or is it all?
Yeah, she'll be back, I think Friday afternoon, Curtis?
Hopefully. That'll maybe.
Where is it?
Manhattan.
It's always in Manhattan.
The spring one, and then
Uh,
they give them too much in the fall.
You already missed her email.
Then on the water wells, me and Aaron went to, over to Stafford, attended a meeting, and, there's a letter in here. They gotta get together with them, and we gotta jump through, see if we can get a waiver. Because we don't wanna spend a bunch of money out there if we got good water, and then we can't put in a well field, that'd be just throwing money away. But they're supposed to be meeting with Ned, and see if they give us a waiver that if it is good quality water, we can move forward. But there's no sense spending no money if we can't get a waiver, we're just making a difference what kind of waiver.
So they confirmed that 16669, that we would need a waiver from the GMP 5
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah, for some reason they wanted to get in the middle of it.
Well, it sounded like it was kind of a funky deal,
Funky
because
deal.
the well's still there, and it's still technically a numbered well, so by the rule of law, we need a waiver for
Yeah,
it,
we
so
do.
it's probably one of those where Warren talked to the board and they said, well, we need to go through the steps.
Yeah,
to
I think that's
make
the
it
whole
proper,
thing.
so.
In fact, there's a letter here that you got one probably. Anybody has anything else on Pam? Nope. Okay, moving on. Okay. City attorney, not here. We'll wait on him a little bit here. We're not gonna vote on that. Has he got anything on the Fifth Street project?
I think maybe Danny has an update on the easement, but I'm not sure.
Izzy for bids
If the easements are signed.
and files. We'll have to get a bond. And the current estimate for our portion of the project is $485,500. That does not include the sidewalk.
Do we need to review insurance tonight? Until next meeting, do you know? We have the insurance bid.
I think we should do it tonight if we could.
I think it's April 1, maybe.
We need to,
Does that sound right?
It does
April
sound right.
1, there's one.
We've been with EMC for 5 years, 4 years.
yes. And we did budget for the increase.
Yeah, I think I saw something that went up $9,000, we're getting $9,000 refund.
We're getting 9,000 back in dividends. It's in her report, and then there's a spreadsheet that shows the dividend payments.
$9,109.85. I think it's too late to be looking around now. At least you're pretty-
I don't think just, every agent would cover us, now I know multiple agents cover you, have EMC, but I mean, I think we're a little difficult to get coverage for just because of the, so many pieces we have to have.
We did get that new cat motor on that insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think some of that was, I think they increased, I think it went up quite a bit a couple years ago because of that, if I remember right.
Do we need any added insurance on this since we overhauled that Fairbank? I don't know that we need, I don't know. I don't actually know what the insurance covers on the electrical department. You know, if you have a fire and burnt that motor up, whether they're all under a blanket or whether it'd be out cold. We hope we never have that happen.
I heard what you said. Do you wanna just go ahead and approve it the way Pam has it written here? Or make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably, if
He's here.
it's April 1, we probably have to, I guess.
So I'll make a motion to renew the insurance with EMC for $149,776.
Second.
Motion on the table, second, by Aaron Raines and second by Kyle Bunker. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed, passes 5-1. Hey, Danny,
All right.
we'll back up. Council, got any questions for Danny? We chose not to sign this, Danny,
Okay,
so there's some more changes that has to be made.
okay. Changes from you guys or changes from somebody else?
Sounds like from us.
Well, mainly, it's hard to sign a resolution that says Tyler Wyckoff is the owner of the building. He doesn't own the building anymore.
This
So-
wasn't until when.
The 21st.
Okay.
So we talked about that we probably shouldn't sign something that says he's the owner until he is the owner.
That makes sense to me.
And then, Stephanie pointed out that the memorandum of understanding points to Stafford County Eco Devo having responsibility in the grant. Well, now that they're not the owner of the building, that Commerce doesn't wanna see Eco Devo anywhere on any of the paperwork because they're no longer part of the transaction because they're not the building owner and the city's applying for the grant, so.
In a nutshell.
That's the.
And you guys are comfortable taking economic development out of that?
I mean,
If we're gonna,
it sounds like that's the
Sure.
only way forward from Commerce's standpoint, so.
And that's fine. The reason I put them in there, I don't know what Tyler's finances are. We want that MOU with economic development, cause they said in the event this has to be repaid, they're solvent enough, they'd repay the grant funds. Cause the city's applying, and for some reason the grant has to be repaid, the city's responsible for coming up with those funds. And so, that's why I include economic development in there.
well, maybe you should speak with this gal and see where we stand as a city, and then if it's something that you think is in there and she doesn't want it in there, then we just don't move forward.
And I think it's their, cause I emailed her when they sent those out asking if economic development can honor the MOU when the event has to be repaid. Her answer was no, since they don't own the building anymore, maybe. Not quite that straightforward, but I thought at least to present to you guys, I'd include them in there and see what your thoughts were.
Yeah, she did mention something about that it's the owner of the building that would be responsible for paying back the funds. So your concern is
Well,
the
it is-
business would go bankrupt and those funds would still need to be
Well, and it's
paid.
not even what's been presented in the business name, it's in his individual name, rather than
Company.
LLC or anything on there.
Okay.
So I don't, that's probably better, because, if an LLC's done right,
It kind of
trying to go
protects.
after it is limited what the assets are. If the assets have nothing, or, the LLC has nothing in assets, where if it's in personally, you may have more to go after there. I just thought the way it was presented to the council was, hey, there's no risk to you guys on the council, cause economic development's agreeing if this falls apart, they'll repay anything that gets
They're
approved.
responsible,
Yeah, and now they're
and now
not,
since they're not, then
then it
it'll
would
fall
be,
back on the city.
fall back on Tyler and then the city, if economic development's out of that agreement.
The way you put it, we need to watch out for the city.
So that,
Yeah, so maybe we need a better understanding from the grant writer,
Yeah.
Stephanie, and how that plays out. I mean, I think in some ways, if they're closing in 3 days, that's also, he's spending way more than what the building is worth to buy the building as it stands. So, I mean, and that's under the understanding that this grant is being filed, so there's kind of a two-way street that we need to play here, that
Yeah.
we need to figure it out, and what's best interest for the city, but we also have an individual that wants to put his office in town and increase property value and pay taxes in town. So,
right,
yeah, we can't be too bombastic about,
Is there any sort of like letter of credit or letter guarantee that he can get that shores it up, or is it we're
Yeah.
exposed no matter what?
no, I mean, that's what we asked economic development for, to start, was an irrevocable letter of credit in the amount of the grant, so that way we knew if something went sideways, that was there. If Tyler can get one of those, that would cover the same purpose.
Maybe that's what we have to do to move forward.
Yeah.
with that.
And backtracking, I think the odds of something going wrong with the grant are pretty really small and something happened to be redone or, you know, paid back. But it's still out there and I'd rather address it on this end than down the road if that comes up.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
If they're listening hands or something, then it'll just be a mess.
Yeah.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah, I don't know if that helped anything.
That helped me.
Put a letter of credit would take, you're right, cause Ecodevo did get one.
They
Did not.
They did not, they did the MOU instead of the letter of credit. They started out, I thought that's what we were gonna do, and then for some reason, they didn't wanna go that route, they wanted to do the MOU instead.
But the letter of credit would make you feel better.
I'd feel good on that end, cause, you know, whatever the grant amount is, then if you've got the letter saying, he's good for this, we got the agreement, it's gonna be repaid, he's going to, then, yeah, I'd feel pretty confident with that.
Well, I guess we'll table it. He's gotta own it first.
Right. Well, we probably need to communicate to him too, where the city's at. And if somebody's got contact info, I don't mind reaching out to them.
Pam's gonna be gone.
I can find it for you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That'd probably be good to have that conversation with him tomorrow,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
Cause he signed paperwork in 3 days, so.
Yeah, if he's buying it, can't give a grant, I don't know.
I thought she said something about part of him buying it for 150 was under the understand. There's something with the appraisal, and then he's buying it for that, but with the understanding that he's getting the grant funds to
Yeah.
fix it up.
There's
She mentioned
something
something
similar to
like
that.
that, so I don't know what that agreement looks like, but
Like maybe if the grant didn't go through, he'd get his money
then
back
he would
on the
get, or like
purchase.
he would have to buy it for the appraised value, like he would, like he would get whatever minus the appraised value
Yeah.
or something. I don't know how it would read, but she mentioned something about that. There was some clause in buying it for 10 times what it's worth.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
If you're gonna table it, I imagine we probably have a motion.
I'd make a motion to move the CDBG commercial rehabilitation, resolutions A and B to old business.
Second.
Got a motion on the table in a second. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 5-0. Do you have any updates on Fifth Street that we need to talk about, Danny?
Danny emailed me, I reached out to him with what we talked about off-run, and I think that's gonna be okay. He said he had one question, and I just haven't touched base with him yet to see what that question was, but he indicated it's not a major ask. So, I will follow up with him, and I'd imagine probably in pretty good shape there.
Has council got any questions for Danny? Or anything? Clarification? Moving on. Let's see, have we done the insurance? Mayor's specialty service quote for sewer lining, we did that too, didn't we?
Mhm.
Okay. I've got some, if you guys remember, a couple, 3 weeks ago, a guy from Midwest Energy come down and was talking about a building. I've been doing some work on this. This is passing out. That's a map I got from the courthouse, showing showing some stuff here, and we found a couple pieces of property. I've got a map here, but I just got one. I mean, you can find it on here, but there's two pieces of property, one here and one here. That, this one here can possibly be bought, this one here is for sale. I talked to, what was
Why don't
his
you turn it
name?
around and show it to us?
I'll just pass it around, you know, but, I talked to, what was his name? Cody, today, and took him down and showed him the property. And, I got a visit with Jason before we started because they want on city sewer and they want on city water. And I had, this is the zoning, but me and Jason, there's a sewer manway right
Oh, is this
here.
coming through here?
And we're
And this is
probably, if he chooses down here, this is in, it's not, is that an alley, Jason, or did you check? I know you've been busy.
No, I haven't had time.
Okay, it's an easement right on the back side of this house, and it's about, just a guesstimation, 100 feet off the property line, probably.
Yeah.
The manway. Bunch of trees here. And then this property here, they chose, they didn't want this because it was so long and there's a hole back here.
Who's
So
they?
Midwest Energy.
Oh, okay.
They prefer to try to come up with this. This belongs to, individual here, out there in town, and I talked to her, and she said she would entertain maybe selling it. But the problem being, that sewer is gonna have to be added on at that manhole, and probably put line in, and another manway out here. This is all resident or agricultural property. But this could be a possibility of more businesses hooking onto that. I don't know what it'll cost to put a sewer, you jump another manway and a sewer line. But it looks to me like if you're looking at the futures of St. John, you got your Port Authority going in down here.
Mm-hmm.
You got Midwest Energy wanting to put a crew in here, and I think this probably could be developed and probably purchased. While I was talking to Midwest Energy, they made the comment to me, and I said, I don't know, it's moving that sewer, I don't know whether a lateral, you could run in and tie into that manway and get enough drop on it or not. And he said, might be a possibility they'd share some expense with the sewer and the water and the electricity. If council, if that's something council kinda wants to look into, that's up to you guys. But I think it's one way of getting a little bit of addition going on in our town.
They probably didn't have much luck finding anything existing, did they?
No, this place here, I stumbled onto it, and it's for sale, but it's got a pond back here that needs to be filled in, and it's not very wide. They were wanting something more square. They were looking two to 2.5 acres. They're gonna put up a building to house a bucket truck and a pickup, and there's gonna be a 4-man crew based out of St. John. And it's Midwest Energy, and that's a big company. And I think they probably help us put the sewer in if it come to that. But I wouldn't wanna do that until we at least got a quote and see what it's gonna cost. I don't have a clue what it's gonna cost. Be new
Well,
pipe and new manway, and it might be such a thing that the city might wanna go on further, I don't, and develop that. So what do you think about that, Kyle? Am I thinking on the right track here?
Yeah, I mean, if we've got the demand for it, it'd be great to, yeah, if you could put another 2 or 3 businesses in there, just,
But if you don't have a sewer there, you're gonna have a hard time getting anything to
oh, yeah.
come around. But that was their hang up, they wanna be on city sewer and city water and electricity. And he said, we might have to run some primary in, and where's the water at? And I said, well, I would think it'd be in the road, but I don't know that for a fact. And, he kinda talked like, well, might have to help put that together. But he's gonna, I gave him that number, and I think they were gonna call her probably in the near future. And with that being said, there's another, that white piece of paper there, this is zoned agriculture, I think, R1, is that residential or?
But it might just
We
be-
we'll probably have to get that to zoning, and if it goes ahead, and do some zoning changes before they ever get started, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to discussing it, we just need to figure out what steps we need to do. And there's gonna be some costs involved, so we're gonna be ready to spend some money.
I don't know what sewer costs.
I mean, just, there's gonna be time and money involved in figuring the planning of this.
Yeah, right.
So,
And we're gonna have to see if we got an easement, or whether there's an actual alley there, because it's right on the backside, and I don't know whether it's on, Lawton, what's his name? Richard Lawton. I don't know whether it's on his property, I don't know where it's at.
well, Danny, is that something you get involved with as far as finding legal ownership, or is that something Pam usually looks into?
What's the question about legal ownership now?
Well, as far as what he was mentioning, the easements. And
Yeah,
all that
well,
stuff.
I could go to the courthouse, but I didn't have time to do all of that today.
I think it depends, I mean, generally, I would think it would be Midwest would be the ones to go look at it unless, for some reason, the city said, we're gonna do your title work for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I
It
think,
is-
I think we would just tell Midwest that if they buy on the northeast corner of that Cornwall ground, and they're able to get that land purchased, that the city is committed to running sewer to them. I mean, I think it's,
Yeah, I think.
they just need confirmation that they're gonna be on city water and sewer before they can make a decision.
The only reason we really have to get involved is if we wanted to buy that whole tract and have it for future development.
Right.
Yeah, but that sewer line, you can't put that in, that's gotta be done with the city, doesn't it? It's in-
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, we would put it
Yeah.
in, but I'm just saying, we're not gonna do it until they've bought ground and are
Oh,
gonna
no,
build. We
right.
just need to tell them
Right.
that we're committed to doing so
Right.
if they are gonna.
And if it needs to be rezoned, they probably need that done before they commit to,
They're gonna have
To
to do a
buy.
survey, probably
Yeah.
survey it
Yeah.
out for the zoning change. And they do take a little
It'll take a
time to
while,
get it,
yeah.
but
and then, but yeah, let them know that, you know, the city's committed to getting the easements to run the sewer and water there and get an estimate of the cost and maybe willing to share some of that with them.
Would you want me to call back and get ahold of him tomorrow, or the next day, and tell him what council said?
I think, since you've been dealing with them,
I've been
you have a relationship.
In fact, I've got, anybody else is interested, Beth said there's good a possibility she'd sell some of the ground, help the city. I thought it belonged to Joe, but I found out it didn't.
I think we'd be definitely interested in helping them if they get to the point where they're gonna pull it off. I mean, I think it would be a good long-term, I mean, hopefully
think it would be too. I think
hopefully
it'd
they
be-
bring their crew and base it out there and they're here for a long time.
It's not right next to Port Authority, but,
No,
you know, close enough where if we make that industrial,
this,
they can, I mean, the Port Authority's kind of down here.
right, over here, but see, that city limits goes clear over quite a bit of ground here. It's even past the railroad track, see?
Yeah, cause this is Kevin Davis's house there. So it's just inside city limit.
Here's a better map. This is the city limits right here, that black line, and that's just part of it. I just tried to get this one for them. See what it was. I think it's a good idea. It may cost us some money, but if they would share the cost with us, I think we'd be fool not to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there's something new, we should at least,
And I get
definitely be interested.
Dennis too, I mean, I know this came from the county, but it shows that John Stanford, the city clerk, that attest to this.
Yeah, I had Laura make, done that. This come from the county.
Oh, this one came from us, okay, gotcha. Yeah, cause if we're rezoning, we'll go through the planning commission, Dennis, and do all that.
They sound interesting.
I mean, I don't, it's probably a conversation for another day, but if Midwest is committed to that, and you wanted to just, if Beth was willing to, and you wanted to plat, lots just along here and leave that, I mean, we don't need, I don't foresee us growing to needing this much ground, especially when there's already, it'd be hard to get roads back in there.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
I guess you could start from over here, but, you could zone a strip of this industrial where people could build sheds or offices for their business on there.
Yeah.
But it's a dirt road too, so it's not necessarily like it's prime at the moment.
But that was one of the questions he asked. He said, would you come in First Street or come in from the south? I said, you can come in either direction. That's truck route.
I mean, probably quicker to go south to get to I-50.
But he was wanting to turn on the outskirts of town because they leave at all times during the night and they didn't wanna be stirring a whole bunch of lights and stuff up in a close residential area.
Yeah, seems like it's promising.
I think it is. I'll reach back out to him and give him a report on how this went tonight, cause I told him he wanted these maps, and I said, I gotta have them for tonight. And I'll probably just give him the map. The head honcho or the guy that must be pretty high up came down with whatever the guy's name is, I can't remember, Colton or Clayton or.
Cody, the one that was here.
Yeah, but his boss come down and I spent about an hour with him. So I think it's gonna happen if they can find something to do.
That'd be nice to keep them in the city limits too.
Yeah, it would be. Taxes, and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Probably they'd work with the city if we had a major problem, probably work with Curtis.
Yeah, sounds
But
like
in a roundabout way, I think our
situation.
electricity comes through Midwest when we buy a block of electricity. Just keeping it, Councilman, if you don't have any more questions, or I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
We still have to.
Well,
we
no,
still
we,
have civil business.
we're not doing that.
Okay.
Move them to old business.
I'd make a motion to adjourn regular council meeting, March 18th, 2025.
Second.
Got a motion on the table by Aaron Gleason, a second by Aaron Raines. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Council meeting adjourned.